that office. I think this court needs to run better, and knowing how to make it more efficient, make it more productive, I think that will also help. So that's kind of what I also bring to the table. So thank you, and that's it for me.
So I guess we're going in order here. So this is Department 1, I'm Department 2. I'm here from Department 3. My name's Eli Parker, and I'm from Helena, Montana. I've been here since 2002 in Missoula. I came here because I was going to law school, and I was lucky enough to get a job, and I've been here ever since. I started out in private practice. I was working with a guy that told me once you get criminal law in your blood, either you're going to hate it or you're going to be hooked. And I've been here practicing as a public defender for 15 years. The other thing he taught me was it's a small town. It's about relationships. So the people you know, you take care of them, you take care of those connections. And I learned to practice law in this court that I'm running to be a judge in. I started out with a lot of negotiations with Judy Wang, who's passed away, who was an incredible prosecutor and somebody that maybe folks don't know the name of still, but she taught me so much about working together to get to the bottom of a case and figure out what the truth is and find out what the fair resolution was. And court is an interesting place. It's a place where people come to fight with different points of view, and usually we don't get resolution. You can go on the internet, go on Facebook, there's nobody listening to each other. Court's different. It's a place where people get heard. It's a place where you will have a resolution. What it ought to be is one that's fair and one that's based on the truth. And that's what a judge's role is, and that's what at times things have fallen short of and sometimes lived up to. In my experience, over the last 10 years of my time at the Public Defender's Office, where I still am, I've been handling a caseload called involuntary commitment. I deal with folks that are in psychiatric crisis, so they're thought to be a risk to self, someone else, or not capable of taking care of basic needs. And the county's stepping in to try to get them help, and I'm stepping in to either argue against it or to help them get the kind of care that they need. So I meet folks when they're in their lowest, and when they're and some of them are very difficult, and some of them are really amazing. But I've been doing this for 15 years, and there's something about being a defense attorney that makes this potential as being a judge, I think, something that is not just something I want to do, but something that's good for all of you. And that's that when it comes to offenses that are in a court, you have usually the person sitting in the black robe being a prosecutor, formally. And what a prosecutor does is they do an important job, but they have a kind of distance from the people that they're dealing with that you don't have when you're a defense attorney. They look at the facts, they look at the charge, they don't build a relationship over a period of months or sometimes years with the person that's in that process. And when you do that, what you learn is you learn a lot about what makes people do the things that they do. Some of them are real bad, most of them aren't. Some of them need to be in jail. A lot of it, they need something else. And if we treat all of them the same, that costs everybody money. Because if we treat all of them the same, it means that folks with mental illness, folks with addiction problems, folks that are just suffering from experiencing homelessness or are traumatized from one thing or another are in jail. And when somebody's getting beat up by life, prosecuting them and putting them in jail just beats them up worse. And it doesn't help them, but not only that, it doesn't help you. Because if we don't take care of the people that are hurting the most, that ends up coming back on the whole community. So the most obvious way is monetarily. It's not cheap to put people in jail. One of the things that I know is that if you go out and you talk to the jailers, they don't like having their jail filled up with people that are homeless or mentally ill or just committing things that are nonviolent offenses. We're not talking about letting people out that are beating people up. We're talking about people that are not doing well, that are getting thrown in jail on nonviolent offenses, and they get habituated to it. They get stuck in this revolving door. And what we want to do, what I want to do for you, is give the police other options. Streamline relationships with the mental health community that I've built relationships with over the last 10 years, and law enforcement and the court system, so that we can start doing something smarter, something that's better to people, something that's cheaper for all the taxpayers, and something that makes our community safer, because I think that there's a lot of crime right now in this town. And if we don't start doing something about it that's effective, and if we just keep doing the same thing, it's just gonna get worse. So that's why I'm doing it, that's who I am, and thank you, and here's Jake.